As you know, Mr. Yang, 20% of U.S. electricity is generated from nuclear power plants. What would you do with those plants? Would you decommission them?
To me, nuclear energy needs to be on the table in a transition to a more renewable economy. Because our society consumes a great deal of energy, and nuclear right now, it gets a bad rap in part because the technologies we're using are antiquated. And so if you look up, we are working on these new generation nuclear reactors that use thorium instead of uranium, and thorium is not natively fissile or radioactive. So the odds of a catastrophe drop precipitously. It's much, much safer to dispose of. It produces much more energy. So we need to upgrade to thorium-fueled reactors. And to me, though, trying to get rid of all the nuclear power plants that produce 20% of the nation's energy is not going to help us accomplish our goals.
I want to talk about nuclear energy, because you say nuclear energy is key to fighting climate change, but you know there are inherent risks in that, and that's the possibility of disasters like Fukushima, like Chernobyl, like 3 Mile Island. The fact is there are currently no safe ways or permanent ways to dispose of the most dangerous radioactive waste. What would you do to help mitigate those dangers?
So this is where study is actually, and science is really important. So let's deal with the facts and the data. When I was mayor of the city of Newark, I used to have strong people come with strong opinions, strong emotions. I used to say, in God we trust, but everybody else bring me data. And we need to look at the numbers right now. So my plan says that we need to be at a zero carbon electricity by 2030. That's 10 years from the time that I will win the presidency of the United States of America. And right now, nuclear is more than 50% of our non-carbon causing energy. So people who think that we can get there without nuclear being part of the blend just aren't looking at the facts. But here's something that I want to tell you right now. The disasters from Chernobyl to Japan, trust me, when you live in a community, as New Jersey does, with nuclear plants, and my mom, who lives in Nevada, and all this stuff, all the fights, righteous fights to protect what they plan to do at Yucca Mountain, I'm very aware of these things. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to double down. I'm going to read everything I can about nuclear. I'm going to visit with nuclear scientists. I'm going to talk to folks. And this is the exciting thing. Next generation nuclear, where the science is going, is, to me, at first, it sounded like science fiction. Mm-hmm. We're talking about historic plants, but where the science has gone right now is new nuclear actually portends of exciting things where you have no risk of the kind of meltdowns we're seeing, where they spent fuel rods. We actually can go to the kind of innovations that make nuclear safer or safe. And so this is the point I'm making. I'm a competitor. I'm a baller. I played football in the Pac-10, go Stanford, now Pac-12. And I'm a competitor. This is one thing that really ticks me off. We used to have the most R&D intensive economy on the planet. We are no longer the research in terms of percentage of our GDP that we invest in R&D. We're no longer there. We're falling behind. Other countries want to out-innovate us for the ideas of the future. That's unacceptable to me. Call it pride or call it just confidence that if America can compete, we can win. So government needs to step up in a much more significant way. That's why my plan has a massive moonshot-like investment in the technologies of the future, which range from everything from battery storage technology to the aviation industry, all the way to nuclear. The future we need to not be fearful of. We need to embrace the possibilities. And nuclear, I believe, if we start doing the research, making the investments, I've already been in Washington working across the aisle to clean up a regulatory regime that's made for the nuclear reactors of the 70s to prepare for the possibilities of the future. We've got to get people excited about what's there. And we, as a society, as Americans, must make the investment so that we lead humanity to the innovations, to the breakthroughs, to the jobs of the future.
And by R&D, you mean research and development.
Research and development.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Senator.